And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
Boom. We're live, baby. Episode double X, episode 20, MMA Gossip. Back in your life. You guys know the usual. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to say it every fucking time, so just do it now. With that being said, we're going to review UFC Fight Island 3 and get into UFC Apex 5. We're already at Apex 5, back in the smaller cage. Whitaker versus Till wasn't the banger that we expected it to be. It was still a crazy, exciting fight. I had a good time. I was watching on the edge of my seat. I don't know how happy Matt was. I keep pointing down. I don't know if he's below me. He's probably above me. But with that being said, let's get right into it, Mike. Let's get it. Episode 20. Already 20 episodes in. It's actually 21, I think, because we did episode 18 and a half. So this is our 21st time recording, baby. Let's go.
Yep, and here's to 21 and more, Cheers to that, boys. All right, so we're going to run through real quick last week's event. Nathaniel Wood earns a very clear-cut decision over John Castaneda, gets right back on track. Ramazan Ameev does what Ramazan Ameev does and gets a boring decision over Nicholas Stolze. Pani Kianzad beats Betch Kohea clearly, 3-round decision.
Fire, please.
Tanner Bozer makes a quick turnaround, one of the few fighters to be successful after a quick turnaround during this quarantine, and gets a KO win over Rafael Pessoa. Rafael Pessoa learned how to take a punch. Movsar Evloev has an absolutely amazing performance against the much bigger, much more decorated wrestler, Mike Grundy. Do you guys want to touch upon this real quick before we keep going?
I could have watched. The only thing I have to say is I could have watched his scrambles all day. The way he got, because Grundy was having some success with the takedown initially, but the way he would scramble out of there, dude, was just it was awesome to watch. He got in a couple bad spots and got right out, and just the way he did it, it was awesome to say, man. He's legit. He's very legit, and that's honestly what we said going in, is that we thought he was the better mixed martial artist and he could flow better and put things together more. And he showed that he's more of a mixed martial artist than a wrestler. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It was.
Go
ahead.
No. And I just saw the Edwin Najmi. I think he trains out of Gracie Baja. He did a breakdown of the Darce fail and the Darce escape. So on Evlo's how he got out of the Darce choke, which is pretty cool. So if you're interested in that breakdown, check him out on Instagram.
Chris, who posted that?
Edwin Najmi.
All right, I got to check that out. I'm curious.
Yeah, that Tiger Muay Thai is definitely paying dividends to Evloev, because Grundy had absolutely no answer on the feet, which is exactly what we kind of talked about. If the wrestling cancels out, it's Movsar's fight. So it's exactly what happened. Tom Aspinall knocks out Jake Collier, who, oh my God, as soon as you saw him at the weigh-ins, everybody started hammering Tom Aspinall. The bookies were like, come on, Jake, come on. You know that for sure. Jesse
he was
Brunson,
tweeting about tobacco withdrawals during fight week, tweeting about having tobacco withdrawals.
I wish I saw that. I would have put everything on it.
If you saw his 185-pound weigh-in picture from years ago right next to his Saturday's weigh-in picture, you'd think it's two different people. It's absolutely absurd. That was just
it's a reverse before and after.
Yeah, it was bad. Jesse Ronson scores a knockdown and then the submission over Nicholas Dalby for the huge upset. Crazy win there. Good for Ronson. Nicholas Dalby should have never been a minus 285. Francisco Trinaldo gets a last minute knockout win over Jay Herbert. Real quick, let's talk about the stoppage. Herb Dean and Dan Hardy confrontation. You guys want to touch upon that real quick? What do you guys think about that, Matt?
Chris, you go ahead first on this one. I'm curious to see what you have to say, because I don't want to. Go ahead.
Now, I thought it was good. I see what they're doing, especially after the fact, post-fight, on the post-fight show. Dan Hardy and Paul Felder both touched on it, gave their opinions. I totally get it. They're fighters, so they're clearly advocates for the fighters. I saw other people take a completely different stance and say it was not a good look on Dan Hardy's part to do that, on air, basically. There's a time and a place for everything. And I hear that. I totally hear that. Herb Dean isn't telling them how to do their commentary job better. Herb Dean is fucking one of the best referees in the world. You know what I mean? He's best top 3 in any fucking order you want to put it in. He's one of the best referees. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I do think Jay Herbert was not responsible. They could have stopped that fight. Good on Trinaldo for not following it up. But I don't really have a hard opinion either way. Like, I get where Hardy's coming from. But at the same time, like, Felder had a hard opinion on it too, but he was able to, like, keep the show going and not literally Hardy's yelling and not answering questions on the mic live on air. So, like, that part was a little, like, iffy, but I get where he's coming from. So I don't have a hard take either way.
So I actually think it should have went a little bit longer. I had no problem with what – I'm kidding. No, I do, like –
You're an
I'm just gonna echo what Chris said. As much as I was like livid because he was my lock, he was an underdog, like the whole 9. I thought he was winning the fight too, so that one really hurt. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree. I get, like Chris said, I get where they're coming from. I'm not gonna repeat what he said, but it sucked. Fuck him.
You're literally not kidding.
Kind of.
What about you, Mike? What did you think?
I get it from Herb Dean's perspective, man, because, like, think about it. The fight was close, but it looked like Jay Herbert was definitely getting the best of him. And then out of nowhere, he gets hit with his overhand right and then just goes stiff. And then as soon as he lands, he kind of shells up as if he's ready to get hit, So I understand why Herb was a little bit hesitant to stop it, man. It's hard to be a referee, man. None of us know what it's like to do that. Dan Hardy doesn't know how to do that. No one knows how to do that except the referees. So they're going to make mistakes. Herb Dean was 100% wrong. Should have stopped it right then and there, but I understand why he didn't. It was a, in the moment kind of situation. But Herb Dean should have owned up to it a little bit more because he was more so defending himself as opposed to, I feel like John McCarthy would have been like, yo, it's my bad. I'll do better next time. But other than that, I really don't have much of a hard take on it either.
Big John came out and said that Herb Dean, that wasn't a lose-lose situation. He didn't really have a hard take on it either.
Yeah, fair enough. Coming from the best of the best.
Yeah.
I miss him in the octagon, though, honestly, sometimes.
I know, yeah.
All the time. They should sign a deal with Bellator. The UFC should be like, every title fight, main event, we're allowed to have Big John here.
Yeah, literally.
Make it happen, dude. He is literally the best. He's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, while we're on just controversial things, this is way off topic. Fuck the judges for Bellator that whole night. I just had to get that out there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We can touch on that. I'll touch on that as well. I didn't mention that.
I know you will, dude. Yeah, that was the first time I've seen you actually you were mad.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was bad. It was really bad. I mean, you definitely had a lot harsher take than me, but I was mad. That was really bad, dude. That was really bad.
We'll get to it.
I feel bad for Taiwan Claxton. We'll get into it. But on that note, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, please. Helps us out a ton. Yep. Kazmat Chimaev does what he does and makes Rice McGee just look absolutely like he's never grappled a day in his life, didn't land a single significant strike, and, one KO, TKO. If you were one of those few people that was on the TKO prop, good for you, because I think it was plus money. So good for you if you're on that. That's smart.
I think you called that too. Didn't you tell people to take that last week?
No.
I said it on the podcast.
You said I know one of you said it.
Yeah, good shit, Chris. Up next, Oliveira, shows up and does what he's supposed to do and beats Peter Sabata pretty soundly. Paul Craig gets the triangle choke in the first couple minutes against Gazmarad Antigulov. Antigulov, that was your strong suit, bro. What the hell? Either way, good shit, Paul Craig. Carla Esparza does what she does again. And just, I'm more shocked by, let's talk about this one real quick. Marina Rodriguez, I don't know how you haven't leveled up your takedown defense yet. I mean, come on. Use the cage. Use your butterfly guard. She was lost. Absolutely lost. And this hot prospect that everyone thought was going to be, tough, hot shit at the 115-pound division, I thoroughly think that she's a bottom feeder now, because if you can't get that kind of takedown defense, integrated into your game, you're never going to make it in the top 15.
So I have a question real quick, because I'll be honest, I missed this fight. I completely ignorant to it. Did you guys agree with the decision?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like obviously Marina was my lock, but
because I saw it was split, so I didn't realize because like having not watched it, I didn't know if it was closer than the scorecards indicated.
the reason why I think it was so close is because the moment the fight got back to the feet, which was very far and few between, Marina was lighting her up. Like Carla's face was super bloody, beat up. Like, at the post-fight, interview, her face was demolished. But Carla definitely had more control time, on top, landing those little elbows of hers, and she won the fight.
I know you're sick of it. I honestly, Mike, this might have been the most vocal I've seen you about hating a fighter in a long time. You literally were like, I hate Carla Esparza.
Because she's so beatable. She's so beatable. And
she fights for a decision. That's why.
If I train my girlfriend who weighs, roughly around the same weight, I'd be like, listen, we're doing takedowns all day because you're going to be able to beat her on the feet. Like, learn takedown defense. It's not like her takedowns are that vicious or ruthless. Like, they're totally you can totally defend them. Plenty of fighters have done it. I don't know. Any take, Chris?
If Lisa's there, Tara said hi.
She's here. All right, baby. Fabricio Verdum, plus 275, gets the easy takedown, easy submission over Alexander Gustafsson. Matt.
Hold on. Dude, like Gustafsson, you came out, you were talking about how your retirement was a mistake and all that, and then you come out and have that type of performance. Like, you're on a 3-fight skid. I know, like, you lost to Anthony Smith. I know you go casuals out there, be like, oh, Anthony Smith had a title shot. He's Anthony Smith. He's a journeyman. He's nothing to fucking write home about. Got choked out by him, which is, like, ridiculous because anybody knows Anthony Smith, he's not choking people out. He's knocking them out. You got armbarred by Verdum. You lost to John Jones. Okay, whatever. Like, your claim to fame is having a really close fight with John Jones, and in my opinion, you haven't done anything since. Like, you beat Glover Teixeira, what the fucking do, and you beat John Blachowicz. I mean, who I guess looking where he's at now, it's kind of, but still, like, I just look at your record and I just see loss. I think that a lot of people just look at that John Jones fight from back in fucking 2013 and they think that, like, oh, he would have been the best light heavyweight ever if it wasn't for John Jones and Daniel Cormier. Like, no, not at all. I'm over Gustafsson. If he retired after that fight again, I would not care. He doesn't seem interested to me at all. He doesn't seem interested in fighting. Like, against Smith, she showed no heart. The way Verdum finished, I get it. Verdum's a former champ, the whole nine, whatever. He's an older dude coming off of Fight Lawyer. He looked horrible, and you got ran through like Verdum's in his prime. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know where you go from here. I don't think you should go back to heavyweight because you look like shit. Who are you going to go? What are you going to fight? Like the Daniel Spitzes of heavyweight? Like, come on. I don't know, man. Go back down to light heavyweight or retire, in my opinion. Chris, what do you think?
I love your take.
I love your take too, bro. But yeah, I don't know. So I really expected. So I had really talked about, because I remember Gustafsson saying a few fights back on Errol Hawani's show that he could fight at heavyweight because in his camps he's in the high 220s, low 230s, and he said if he fought at heavyweight he'd probably come in anywhere from 226-ish to 232. So I fully expected him to come in here at 226, 232-ish, and then he weighed 240 on the scales. I was like, holy shit, that's heavier than Daniel Cormier was the first time he fought Stipe. So that to me was like, Jesus Christ, that's a big boy. Granted, he didn't look bad. He did, but at 205, he never, wasn't like Mr. Olympia at 205 either. He didn't have like the craziest body, but I don't know. That kind of surprised me seeing him come in at 245. He kind of seemed unmotivated. That armbar, like me and Mike were watching together, and 30 seconds before it was over, like, oh, fuck, this is over. You know what I mean? Like, there's no getting out of it. Props to Verdum. I guess what he said about him not coming in, not training in his previous fight was 100% true. So I feel him on that. But made me sick after the fight. Now he says he doesn't know if he wants to be with the UFC, and he thinks he wants to rematch Fedor. It's like, all right, bro, no one wants to see that, dude. Fedor gets knocked out by a fucking gust of wind nowadays. Like, Verdum, I would much rather see Verdum go into like, a Spanish-speaking or Portuguese-speaking some type of like marketing with the UFC and just be around and help fighters grow. More than I want to see him fight Fedor.
It's out. Yeah, it's out.
It's up? Okay, that's why you're saying that. Got it. Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, so I don't know. Gustafsson, if you retire, congrats, good career, whatever, memorable, great fights. And Verdum could go down as debatably the best heavyweight ever. So we shall see. I want to see where he goes from here. I mean, honestly, if the UFC, I'd rather him sign back with the UFC for 2 or 3 more fights than I would rather see him fucking fight Fedor and Bellator or some shit.
Fucking Scott Coker's dick stood up the second he said that.
Main event of MSG 2021.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Bader. That'd be a cool fight.
Yeah, I think Bader will whoop his ass.
Yeah, I think Bader would run through him. Bader's good, dude. I would like to see him come back.
Bader is good.
All right, let's give some props to Nogueira on going out, really well. Great fight. He looked good the whole time. I guess he was just kind of a step behind. Shogun's going back to his grappling. Just goes to show, man, he doesn't have confidence in his stand-up anymore. He's afraid of being hit. He knows that his boxing isn't as good as Nogueira's, so he, threw a lot of kicks, mixed in the takedowns. Props to him on being a veteran and getting the W, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But if I'm giving props to anybody here, it's Nogueira for going out like a boss and fighting to his fullest potential at the old age that he is and going for that win as hard as he could. So, props to Nogueira. You guys want to get right to this main event?
Let's do it.
Darren Till loses a very, very close decision, unanimous, to Robert the Reaper Whittaker. Matt, take it away.
I know that you guys are both going to disagree with me on this. I get it. He's as skilled as they come with his striking. But they're he just, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. He just seems gun-shy to me. He doesn't throw enough. He doesn't have the volume, in my opinion. And you saw it against Gastelum, and I just put less and less stock in that Gastelum win. The more I watch Gastelum fight, I agree with Chris. He needs to go back down to 170, fight his own way. I get it. He outpointed Wonderboy Thompson, but that Wonderboy Thompson fight to me looked like a kickboxing match. It was a point fight, plain and simple. And to me, that's how he's approached the past couple of his fights, and this isn't kickboxing. You're not scoring. There's no judges off the side scoring points for leg kicks or whatever the case may be. It's a fight, and there's a lot of times, especially in this fight, I thought for the most part he was controlling the pace. He was the one backing Whittaker up against the cage. He was controlling the center of the octagon, and for as much as he was doing that, he wasn't throwing enough. I don't think it's going to be his downfall because, again, he's still young. He didn't take any damage in this fight. I think he could rebound from this. I mean, I know Izzy said, I still want to fight him. I think that Izzy fight would look like Izzy when he fought Silva. It would be a kickboxing match. They would be there point fighting. It's not going to be with Gastelum where it turned into this fucking fight of the year brawl at the end. It's going to be very technical, and I appreciate that as a fan. But at the same time, there's certain guys you're going to face that it's not going to get you the win every time. And Whittaker's one of those guys. And there's a lot of fighters on this roster that aren't going to stand there and kickbox with you like Izzy and like Wonderboy. Well, they're going to take it to you. You saw Whittaker, man, at the end of the fight. What did he do? He knew the fight was close. Even though he did nothing with the takedowns, he put him on his butt a couple times. You end around 5, sealed the win. You got to mix it up. You got to do other things. You need to have more volume when a fight is that close. I love Till. I don't think this is over for him by any means. I'm not hopping off his bandwagon. I know I said that the other night because I was livid, but I do think he needs to make some changes to his game. And one of those I really think is volume. I'm not saying he needs to incorporate wrestling and start shooting takedowns. Dude, you're an incredible striker. Do more of what you're good at. Like Chris said, you are great at the basics. Show it more. You need some more volume in there, because if you look at the strikes, even the rounds he was winning, he was getting outstruck. With the way judges are, that's what they see, because half of them are fucking stupid. So yeah, man, that's my take on it. I think we'll see him back in there again soon. Again, he didn't take much damage. I hope so. But, I missed that Till that was he knew he was the best striker in the world, and he was coming out there to prove a point. He came at Masvidal, knocked him down within the first 30 seconds, and something's just seemed off to me since that fight. But, we'll see what happens. Chris, what do you think?
On the last podcast, I actually said what you just said about Till. Till's a little flat-footed, and he does not throw a lot of volume, which I thought could definitely not be good for him at all. That's his style. That's fully what I expected to happen. I mean, that fight is exactly – I'm not saying, I called it, but that's literally exactly what I saw happen. I picked Whittaker on the podcast. I thought Whitaker, I said on the podcast, I thought Whitaker might mix in some takedowns. I honestly thought he was going to do it even a little bit more than he did. So good on him. It is an MMA fight. Like you said, it's not a fucking point fighting, not a point fight. And I don't think, like, I know you didn't mean it like this, but Izzy versus Darren Till is always going to be a strikers matchup. They're both pure strikers. Neither one of them are even like they could almost put in the contract no takedowns in that fight because no one's going to be fucking shooting for a takedown. You know what I mean? That is a pure strikers matchup. But one thing that I do want to touch on is both of them got dropped in this fight, and we were worried about Bobby Knuckles' chin. Really low volume from Till, like we said, got caught with an elbow in the first round and went right down. And I was like, oh, shit, this might not be good for him. Also, Darren Till, who's had some chin concerns in the past few fights, got dropped. That was a low-volume fight all around, and they both got dropped in the first and second round. In a higher-paced, faster fight, either one of them could be finished. And I did not like to see that out of either one of them. But yeah, props to Bobby Knuckles. He's right up there. I don't think either one of them lost or gained too much stock with this fight. I think they both pretty much just stayed exactly where they are. And you can match up anyone in the top 5 with either one of them again and get right back in there. But I also don't think that Darren Till – I think Darren Till, like 2 more convincing wins, could fight for the belt. Bobby Knuckles, I don't see fighting for the belt or winning the belt ever again.
Real quick. So I just do want to give props to Bobby Knuckles because he is still one of my favorite fighters. I am pumped to see him back in the conversation, get back on the winner's board. I just want to for that the Till knockdown with the elbow. It was obviously like a step-in elbow. Do you think it was more of just the timing of it and how he caught him, or do you think like Whitaker was truly like rocked? Like like I'm not saying he's like I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say. I just don't know how to say it really. Like I think he was just more surprised by it as opposed to like hurt. Like it's like he stepped into it and just because he popped right back up. Like,
I agree. It was like a flash knockdown. He wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't like blasted. You know what I mean? I thought Whitaker's knockdown was definitely Whitaker knocking Till down was definitely worse.
Yeah, so I agree with both those takes. So my thing is this: the round 1 was clearly Till, round 2 was clearly Whitaker, but for rounds 3, 4, and 5, if Till had, like you said, upped the volume a little bit in any one of those rounds, we'd be talking about 48-47 Till. So. It was so freaking close. I do think the right person won. There are a lot of people that think Till won. I don't agree with that, but I can see where they're coming from. But I think the right person won, and the judges were on point for this particular fight. So congrats to Whitaker. Any last thoughts before we hop on?
So Chris brought up something interesting. The only way I see Whitaker ever getting this belt back is you know who I keep forgetting is in this division? Sorry, I pulled up the thing right in front of me. I literally continuously forget Cannoniers in this division. But anyway, I think if he gets another fight and wins, and if I don't think this is going to happen, but in some weird world, Costa beats Adesanya, I do not think that Paulo Costa is a bad matchup for Whitaker. I mean, I know like the whole he cracks with his chin, but like that's a fight I would like to see because while Costa definitely hits harder, I still do not believe in him as a mixed martial artist. I just think he hits hard as fuck. Like I don't believe in his skill set. I just don't. Like I don't think he beat Yoel Romero. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. He's the number 4 ranked guy on the middleweight division still, but I would still that's a fight I would like to see if that was ever to develop for the belt. But again, I don't want to see Costa with that belt. I really don't like him.
On that note, I actually have 2 things to say. One, Costa, I think anyone that went into that fight with Yoel Romero, if Yoel Romero and Costa had anyone else went into that fight against Costa or against Romero, literally I don't see anyone else in the division coming out on alive on the other end of that fight. That was a fucking war. And I do think Costa won that fight. Also, Matt, there's the one thing I wanted to mention. You said Till didn't take any damage in that fight. He actually said his knee popped. He think he needs surgery.
No, really?
It was oblique kick.
Yeah.
Fuck. I didn't know that. Good call. Stand corrected.
So
this division low-key is so crazy, man. Like, I'm just looking at it. You get Hermanson, Till, Romero, Cannonier, Costa, Whitaker, Izzy. Like, and then you say Edmund wins this weekend. It's low-key a very very packed division.
Yeah, I agree. People don't talk about it enough, but it's exciting division for sure. The bigger boys. That you don't really see too much talent, as much talent.
You can't forget our boy Brendan Allen, and he'll be up there soon too.
Oh, by the way, Brendan Allen calling out Kazmat Chimaev.
Dude, that would be
I would love to see that.
I would love to see that for sure.
Also, Mike, let me hop in right here real quick because Friday night, before we look forward, we got to look back one more night before Saturday night and go over Bellator 242 results from Friday night. I'll just go over the main card real quick. Aaron Pico, absolutely dominant performance over Solo Hatley Jr. Not even a close fight whatsoever. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He mixed in takedowns. His grappling looked sick. He got a rear naked choke, sunk that shit in, and it was over. He was hurting him on the feet, took him down, choked his ass out. What's going on?
First fight of your parlay, our first leg of your parlay. Talk about that as you're breaking down the fights and telling the bullshit that happened at the end.
Let me just say with Pico, man, because I know me and you, Chris, talked about it last week. I'm so pumped that he came out and made it a point to use his wrestling. He showed why that's what he needs to do. Completely different class once he's on the ground. Pumped to see him back in the column.
So, yeah, one of my parlays, I had parlayed the whole card straight and got every fight right except the next fight on the card, which was Taiwan Claxton and J.J. Wilson. The first round, J.J. Wilson came out. He got on top of Taiwan Claxton, who's an All-American wrestler, and then, there was some good scrambles, some good transitions, and Taiwan Claxton ended up on top. But he was in a pretty deep guillotine, arm-in guillotine. I was getting kind of nervous. I was like, oh, shit. So this is how Matt feels all the time. I had an arm-in guillotine. He had a rear naked choke real close to the end of the round. It was not looking good for Taiwan Claxton. Survived the round, definitely down 1-0. Comes out in round 2, looks amazing, mixes in his takedowns, was winning on the feet, clear as day. 2-2 going to the third, and in the third round, Taiwan Claxton came out. It looked like the second round all over again. I went to the confident as fuck. I think I bet $75 on this to win $350, and the judges stole it from me. I think Matt, you could talk on this one because you were even way more upset than me. But I honestly, in no planet do I see any other score than 29-28 for Taiwan Claxton. Like, I could watch that fight 1,000 times, and I don't see it any other way. It was a split decision. It's just like there's only 3 people on planet Earth that scores matter, and 2 of them scored it for J.J. Wilson. And I cannot fathom how they did that.
What I don't understand the most is so, all right, if you want to make an argument for round 3, like if you really want to, that triangle, like the way he locked up that triangle at the end, you could say, all right, if there was longer than around, whatever, sure. It doesn't get clearer than that second round. It literally does not. Mike, did you watch these? Dude, he controlled the whole round. He was literally on top of him or against the cage controlling him the whole fucking round. And then he finished the round with ground and pound because Wilson kept trying like a flying triangle, and he slipped, ended up on his back, and Claxton started raining down ground and pound just to punctuate the round. One guy scored at 30-27. Like, dude, what are you watching? Like, it's just fucking insane, and it's so crazy. You see this across promotions. These judges are just so clueless, and it puts such a damper on the sport sometimes, man. Like, all betting aside, I fucking hate it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it sometimes. Like, so me, I don't bet. I'm the Bellator fan. Matt's the fucking MMA gambler, and I felt, dude, that's how you feel after that Taiwan Claxton fight. I was fucking pissed, dude. That was all biased aside. Like, dude, it's all biased aside. Like, what the fuck, dude? That scorecard is insane.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't looked up judges' addresses or Twitters before.
I don't know if you want to say that on YouTube, but after that,
might as well at them while you're at it.
Jason Jackson comes out and gets the UD over Jordan Mean. This fight was boring to watch. It was so clear. I think Jordan Mean at one point was like legitimately running away. I don't know what was going on there. Jason Jackson came out in the beginning, did his little lap around the octagon, jumped in the air like Betch Correa style and landed in front of Jordan Mean. A little intimidation factor, and I think it fucking worked because Jordan Mean was afraid to engage. This fight was not close. The UFC vet looks like, no, he wasn't scared, but he legitimately looked scared. Jason Jackson, I mean, I know he trains down at Hoof 365. What's the new name of that fucking gym? Sanford MMA. They changed the name to. If you guys didn't know that, fun fact. But he's trained down there with guys like Michael Chandler, Luke Rockhold. So his striking was on point. He looked good. Props to him. And then in the main event, Sergio Pettis, ex-UFC vet, I guess UFC vet, not ex-UFC vet, can't be an ex-UFC vet. Anyway, ex-UFC flyweight turned bantamweight. Sergio Pettis comes out, and I mean, I was rooting for Ricky Bandejas in this, but it looked pretty one-sided. Sergio Pettis, I think, took all 3 rounds. Bellator, what the fuck are you doing? Main events, 5 rounds. Let's get with the fucking picture here. These 2 guys are bantamweights. At the end of the 3rd round, they looked fresh as can be. I don't want to say boring fight, but it was kind of just slow pace. 30-27 for Sergio Pettis. He kind of just shut Ricky Bandejas down. The 1st round, he had him backed up against the cage. 2nd round, I guess Bandejas came out a little more, firing the guns a little bit more, not too much. Sergio Pettis took over there. The biggest shot of the fight, which I think the crowd would have went crazy if there was a crowd there, actually didn't land. From almost every camera angle, it looked like Sergio Pettis hit Bandejas on the chin. Bandejas' head went flying back like Uriah Faber, Dominic Cruz style. But in fact, Sergio Pettis pulled some Matrix shit, moved his head out of the way, and one good camera angle caught it. But, for the judges especially, like something like that, because the judges sit in different places. Like that's one thing where like the judge behind him looks like he just got cracked. He dodged the biggest punch of the fight. So, something to think about. But other than that, I gave Bellator a C on my Twitter account, on the MMA Gossip Twitter account. The overall return, it was good. They had their little social distancing precautions in place. John McCarthy with the microphone on the other side of the octagon. I honestly kind of like that better than what the UFC is doing, interviewing them backstage. It just seems like manufactured, whereas Bellator's just stand a little fucking further apart. Who gives a shit? So anyway, it was good. I'm pumped Bellator's back. I love watching fights on a Friday night. It feels good. So that's it, man. Now moving forward, UFC on Apex 5. Let's get it going, Mike.
All right, before we get into that, ESPN update 1 minute ago. UFC, Dana White, and Kazmat Chimaev are working to get him back in the cage for August 15th.
This guy's the man.
Absurd. Well, think about it. He hasn't absorbed any damage, just a little bit of weight cut. But, other than that, that's incredible. But, let's get right into it. All right, disclaimer. A lot of low-level guys, a lot of new guys coming into the UFC on this particular card. So as always, we'll make our picks for Saturday. We're going to do more tape study throughout the week. We're just giving you a quick breakdown today on the show. But as the week progresses, we obviously dive deeper and deeper into every single fight. And we'll give you our most educated picks come Saturday. So let's get right into it. For example, first fight, Chris Gutierrez. Everybody knows him, but he's going up against the guy Cody Durden, who I personally am having a lot of difficulty finding tape footage of. So real quick, let's go around and make our quick picks, Matt. Oh, wait, real quick, hold on. Cody Durden is like plus 290 and Gutierrez is like minus 330. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I'm on Gutierrez. I've actually been decently impressed with his UFC run so far. He's 3-1 in the UFC. His last fight was sick. He finished Morales with leg kicks. I think it was like a 2-week span where like it was like back-to-back weeks. It might have been the same card where guys were finished with leg kicks. But either way, his striking's really good. He mixes it up well. He's got good boxing. Again, I don't know much about Durden. He's from National Fighting Championship. I couldn't find much tape on him that was reliable because I'm not going to watch highlights because they're just going to show him blasting fucking Joe Schmo from God knows where. But yeah, I'm going to Gutierrez on this. I would have took Gutierrez over Luke Sanders, which was the original fight. This is like this happened 2 days ago. So yeah, Chris, on to you.
Yeah, I was showing my notes before because I said Chris Gutierrez, Cody Durden, no tape. I got nothing on him. I was looking pretty hard as well, and doesn't seem to be anything. The promotions, I also looked up the promotions he was fighting in, and this seems pretty low level, not UFC caliber at all. So obviously I'm going to ride with Gutierrez on this one. And while I looked at your ESPN update about Chimaev, directly underneath it, Cody Garbrandt aiming for flyweight title. Former bantamweight champion Cody Garbrandt asked Dana White for permission to drop weight classes. Via Brett Okamoto.
Talk about, having chin issues and dropping weight. I feel like that's a double negative that doesn't turn into a positive. But you guys said it best. Gutierrez is the ready guy. He's the UFC caliber guy. I did see a lot of people on Twitter saying that Durden is a live dog, but that's from Joe Schmo. I don't know anything about that. Don't take my word for that. Just saying what I've heard. Up next, good fight. Jamal Emmers, plus 150, going up against new UFC newcomer, highly touted Timur Valiev. Valiev's about minus 200. Matt.
Yeah, this one's actually a really good fight. So what I've gathered on Valiev is he's considered one of the better bantamweights outside of UFC. I think he's like won 8 of his last 9 between World Series of Fighting, PFL. He trains with Frankie Zabit and Eddie. So I found some tape on him today. I watched a fight, him against Beckham Magomedov, which is the former PFL champion. He won a 3-round decision, and I was pretty impressed with him. He's got great footwork. He throws heavy volume, but he doesn't hit that hard. But I am definitely going to take him in this fight. I did like what I saw out of Emmers against Giga. I thought he won that fight with his takedowns. He was definitely the fresher fighter in the 3rd round, which I put some stock into, considering that Tamer's going to push a pace. I think he'll be able to match that pace, and I think the striking is going to be very close. That being said, if Emmers does decide to mix in some wrestling, I do trust Valiev to either keep it upright, or honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he got some takedowns himself. What I've seen, he's very well rounded, and I don't think this is anything Valiev hasn't seen before. As opposed to Emmers, I definitely think this is a step up in competition. Valiev's fought some UFC guys before. He actually fought Gutierrez twice, lost one, won one. Emmers does have some win over some UFC guys, but it was a while ago. I think like Hernandez and somebody else. It's actually a pretty big name, Mike. You probably remember.
Corey Sandhagen.
Sandhagen, yeah. But yeah, I'm going Valiev here. I'm not uber confident in it because I was impressed with Emmers in against Giga, especially because Giga hurt him in the 1st round, and he seemed to battle through adversity in the next 2 rounds, being the fresher fighter, like I said, in the 3rd. I think he's definitely more explosive. That probably has more power. But I'm going to go with the vet here, and we'll see what happens. Chris, what do you think?
So I'm a fucking loser, and I have no social life. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are dedicated to MMA. Thursday is PFL. Friday is Bellator. Saturday is UFC. So I actually watched Valiev fight quite a few times, probably at least 2 or 3 times. I've seen him fight like live, and I love what I see. Like Matt was saying, he's actually a bantamweight. He's coming up to 145 for this fight. He's fought at bantamweight. Featherweight.
I think I could be wrong. I thought Jamal was going down.
No, I think that was misinformation. I was looking into it today, and it is at featherweight. So I was under the same impression as you, and I was even more confident Valiev. Now I don't know. Let me ask you this real quick. If that was the case, Mike and Matt, and they were fighting at 135, so Emmers had to suck weight but be the bigger guy, or do you favor Valiev going up? What do you think is better, more beneficial?
I think Jamal has the advantage staying at 145. I think he'd have a disadvantage going to 135.
Me too, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I totally agree. I just wanted to see what your take goes on it. But Valiev has fought at 145 before. I hope that's right because I read that first as well, Mike, and I knew that. But then I wrote today, look, I circled it coming up to 145 because it was one of the things I had looked into because that kind of threw me off. I thought the same thing as you. But anyway, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of a Valiev, a miniature fanboy, and I really like what he's got to bring. I'm really interested in it coming to the UFC. Jamal Emmers is obviously game. He's had some, like Matt said, he's got a win over Corey Sandhagen. Giga Chikadze, that was a good fight in his last fight. We all watched that. But I do think that Valiev is going to mix in his takedowns, just be a little more well-rounded, and I'm really excited for it to see what he's got coming to the UFC. So I'm going to ride with him 100%.
All right, cool. I'm going the other way. I'm going Emmers, man. I think he's going to be able to, gauge the distance really well because, against Giga Chikadze, he was a prime striker. He was able to do well on the feet with him and mix in the takedowns, which I think he'll also have an advantage over Valiev as well because if he can keep the distance, he's 5'10", Valiev is 5'6". He's definitely going to be the bigger guy in there. So distance control against a guy like Valiev is going to be huge in this fight. And if he could find a way to mix up that striking, change levels, and get a takedown, I think he'll be able to, stay on top. We've seen that Emmers is 100% game. He won that Giga Chikadze fight. I don't give a shit what the scorecards say. That was bullshit. And
which is funny, Mike, because me and you argued that fight at one of our first podcasts.
I know, and I was on Giga, so I was on Emmers with you. If Emmers just fought a prime striker like Giga Chikadze and he's going, he's fighting a guy with a very similar style in Valiev, man, I think he's going to be double ready for this fight than the one he was for Chikadze. And I'm taking a stab at him at plus 160 here. So up next,
I love it.
Oh my God, brutal fight. Marcus Perez going up against Eric Spiceley. Eric Spiceley, I think, Let me just get the lineup real
Next.
quick. Plus 165 for Spiceley, minus 210 for Perez. Matt.
I don't know how you could pick Eric Spiceley to beat literally anybody. Second stint in the UFC, he went 2-0 in like CES after losing 3 in a row at the UFC. In the UFC, he got the boot. I mean, like, what is he? Like, he has a couple knockout wins, but he's supposed to be good on the ground. He's just fucking sloppy. He's got no gas tank. I'm definitely taking Perez in this fight. I mean, I'm not, confident because Marcus Perez is nothing to write home about either, but he is super aggressive and he does hit hard as fuck and he's got really good kicks, actually. He hurt Alex Hernandez with the shot to the body kick, dropped them, subbed them. So he fought somebody else too, where he hurt somebody with a kick. I forget who it was, but the striking really doesn't have a base. He just throws very hard and he throws crazy kicks. But he did have a good fight against Wellington Turman, who me and Mike are very high on. So yeah, I'm taking Perez here more because Spiceley just sucks, as opposed to me thinking Perez is good. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're saying Spicy doesn't. So Spicy is a grappler, right? He came in, he went on tough. He was on Team Gedalia. He was, this jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's supposed to be really good. I don't want to say this in a mean way, but I'm pretty sure he has like a sob story. I think his girlfriend died in a car accident. Like that was what they were bringing in and marketing on tough, and he was supposed to be really good. And he fucking sucks. Eric Spiceley is not good. I know MMA math doesn't mean anything. They both lost to Andrew Sanchez. That's who Eric Spiceley lost to on tough. Again, this is his second stint in the UFC, and I think in Spiceley's last fight was his loss to Darren Wynn, right? In the complete striking matchup where Darren Wynn sucks at striking. He's 3 feet tall and has horrible striking, and he couldn't even hang there on the feet. So I don't think that he's going to be able to hang with Marcus Perez, although Marcus Perez also sucks. I think he's I shouldn't say this. I feel bad saying this, but it's true. This is lower level MMA for like in the UFC. This is lower level UFC fighting, and I do think Marcus Perez is going to take it here. He's a 2-1 favorite. Like Matt said, he's got more power, and to just add to Spicy not knowing what he's really about, whether it's the ground, whether he's a striker. He's fought at welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, kind of bounces around. And I just think he's here for a paycheck, and I think Marcus Perez is going to take this one.
Yeah, let's not forget that Eric Spiceley tired Darren Wynn out by getting himself punched in the face so many times. So Darren Wynn got gassed by punching Spiceley in the face too many times. So that just goes to show, man, this is some low level stuff because Wynn is turning out to be somewhat of a bust, and Spiceley got beat up by him. So yeah, I'm on Perez as well, but I'm not laying chalk here because Perez is kind of a fraud himself. He really hasn't done much at all. Wellington Turman whooped his ass. That's all I got to say. Up next, let's go. Ray Borg, Taz Mexican Devil, sitting at minus 250, going up against UFC newcomer Nathan Maness. Matt.
I'm all over Borg here, actually, man. I watched Maness fight, and I think this line should be bigger. Like, this guy has fought nobody. I don't even know I'd never even heard of the promotions he fought. I mean, I don't mean to shit on him because Washi's going to knock him out now, but, like, he looked like he was fighting in somebody's backyard, and he's getting in the octagon with a guy like Borg who's been in the octagon with the best of the best. He's going to huge step up in competition, and between octagon jitters and having to adjust that ridiculous pace that Borg pushes, I think it's going to be a long night for him, man. I mean, from what I've seen, he does have some semblance of a ground game. Again, he's fighting fucking nobodies. I think Borg would give him a lot of trouble on the ground. Borg's boxing against Ricky Simone looked wicked fast, man. Best I've ever seen it. I know he lost that fight, but there was a reason that Simone kept trying to take Borg down. He did not like standing with him. Borg clearly was the faster and better boxer. But yeah, man, I think this one's pretty clear cut. I'm all over Ray Borg here. Chris?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add other than, like you said. First of all, one thing I do want to add is Nate's nickname is Mayhem. Mayhem's already taken. Find a new fucking nickname. There's only one Mayhem Miller. I'm sure there's about 7,000 MMA fighters with the nickname Mayhem, but Mayhem Miller is like, that's Mayhem. People don't even know his fucking first name. Like Jason Mayhem Miller, it's like, his name is fucking Mayhem. Anyway, he fights in local shows in Kentucky, like really small, like mom and pop promotions. Ray Borg is 26, I think, and he's on his 13th UFC fight. So he's got, a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge. He fought fucking Mighty Mouse for 4.5 rounds before being a highlight armbarred. But anyway, I'm 100% riding with Ray Borg here. I need no further explanation than him having 13 UFC fights, taking on a newcomer, and he's still super young, which is kind of crazy. Ray Borg's only 26 years old, and he seems like, he's a seasoned vet in the game.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Ray Borg has this in every area. Striking, he's going to beat him. And on the ground, he's just going to chain grapple the hell out of him until he submits him or gets a clear-cut decision. Enough said. Up next, Ed. Short fuse. Herman sitting at a plus 150. Going up against Gerald GM3. Mearshart making a quick turnaround after getting KO'd or TKO'd by Ian Heinisch not too long ago. Matt.
Also, for those of you that decide to watch this and not listen, I swear I'm not sitting here picking my nose. My nose is peeling ridiculously, and it's bothering me. So that's what I'm doing when I keep doing this. Anyway, I'm going to shock you guys with this one. I'm on Ed Herman. I am not betting a guy that got his clock cleaned about like a month and 2 weeks ago. It's just not fucking happening. Like, I get it. Not going up in weight probably helps your chin a little bit, but I think this is crazy that he's back in the octagon this quick. I mean, Ed Herman is as beatable as they come. And honestly, if Mearshart loses this fight, he should just throw his gloves out. But I am taking Herman. I'm contradicting myself. I'm playing devil's advocate to myself. Herman is so bad at this point in his career. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Dude, he beat Patrick Cummins, and he beat that guy, whoever, that just got his doors blown off last week.
Was it Ibrahimov?
Yes. Got to see. Yeah, that guy's like, he's becoming the next fucking, what's his name? Ben Saunders. But anyway, I feel like we have a couple fighters on this show that we constantly rag on, and in recent weeks it's been Ben Saunders.
I was just going to add to that, man. I swear to God. So Ben Saunders is like you said, but the other fighter who I always rag on is fucking Ed Herman, and here we are. Now I'm supposed to pick Ed Herman to win. I rag on him every fucking podcast. Now I'm going to pick him to win. No, I'm going with GM3, even though he did get like literally his clock cleaned about a month ago, which is not great. Like, I think this is a little too quick of a return. I'm absolutely not fucking betting money on this fight. But I am going to go with GM3. Like, he's younger. Ed Herman's 40. He's 5-7 in his last 12. GM3 is 5-5 in his last 10. So neither one of them are, someone to write home about. But I think Mearshart's just a little bit literally younger and I guess fresher. He's been fighting more. I don't think Ed Herman's fought in about a year. And like Matt said, he's on a 2-fight win streak against people he should be fucking beating, and on a big skid before that to not too great of competition.
Yeah, I'm on GM3 as well. All Ed Herman has is a cracking, punch, which, will be effective for maybe the first round, but then he gasses. GM3 gasses too, but at least GM3 has a little bit of better boxing, and if it goes to the ground, it's clearly all GM3 all day there. So I'm just going to go pick the guy with more ways to win, hoping he doesn't get cracked by Ed Herman. Pretty simple. Up next, Frankie Saenz, 39 years old, sitting at a plus 170, going up against Jonathan Martinez, 26 years old, minus 215. Matt.
Nothing to see here. Martinez is going to win by knockout. This is pretty fucking clear cut. I mean, Saenz has like 1 win since 2018 and 2 since 2015. He was never good to begin with. I think he's like 12-6, and I think, I admit it. Martinez beat Ewell. So Frankie's not going to hang in this fight, man. Martinez is pretty good. He hits hard. He's got good boxing. And Frankie Saenz, there's nothing to say about this fight. Martinez is going to win. What's the line on this fight, Mike? Did you just say it and I didn't hear it?
Minus 215 Martinez, plus 170 Saenz.
Dude, some of these lines to me are sketchy. Like, I think he should be a bigger favorite. I think Borg should be a bigger favorite, but who am I? Yeah, I mean, I'm all over Martinez here. Chris, go ahead.
All that means you're betting on him, so.
I'm betting on Herman this weekend, too. That's great.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. You love losing money. It's your favorite hobby. Frankie Saenz, I think he's going to be 40 a week after the fight. So we got back-to-back 40-year-olds fighting. Super. I think Frankie Saenz is losing this fight. Martinez is coming into this. He's 2-2 in the UFC. Does anyone think that he fucking lost to Ewell? No, right? So he's 3-1 in the UFC, 26-year-old prospect fighting a 40-year-old guy. What do you think the UFC is trying to do here, guys? They're trying to put Martinez over. I think he's going to win, and like Matt said, I think he's going to win in, good fashion. It's going to be promotable fashion. I'll put it that way. So, I'm going with Martinez on this one, clear cut.
Yeah, man. You guys remember when Jonathan Martinez had that like flying knee kick win over hold on real quick, over Ping Wang Lu. So this kid can absolutely strike. He's one of those guys where it's just like he covers up and takes your punches so that he can counter quick. You know what I'm saying? So like he might not have the best head movement, but he's got that crisp like defensive boxing to like counter you, and that's he's gonna destroy signs, man. It's not even gonna be close. I'm putting in all my parlays, picks, all that shit, and it's gonna end inside the distance as well. Thoroughly and this is coming from me right now. I already put all these bets in, so follow me there, please. Up next, Kevin Holland. Go ahead, Chris.
You guys are gonna make me download DraftKings again. I know it.
Wait, what did he say?
You're gonna make him re-download DraftKings.
Don't do it.
All right, here we go. Kevin Holland. Matt's friends in the background. What's up, buddy? We got Kevin Holland going up against Trevin Giles. Currently, they got Kevin Holland minus 225, Trevin Giles plus 175. Go ahead.
I mean, we need Kevin Holland to win this fight, but anyway, as long as Holland doesn't get caught, he's gonna win this fight. He's better everywhere. He's fucking long. He's got an 81-inch reach. He's got good boxing. He's got crazy power. And I think those long limbs have really helped him make some improvements in the ground game. Not that I expect that to matter against a guy like Giles, who's, he is what he is. He's going to throw bombs, and he's either going to connect and knock you out, or he's not. And he better do it before his gas tank empties. But, I'm all over Holland again here. I really hope I'm not wrong because I like him a lot, man. I think he's got a lot. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he can make some noise in this division. But, again, I think I hyped up Giles previously. I'm not doing it anymore. He stinks. I was never on his train to begin with, but he sucks. I'm on Holland here. Chris, what do you think?
I'm on Holland as well. I'm a big fan of his. So I have two hot takes on Holland. I don't know if they're really hot takes, but anyway, this will be his 8th UFC fight in less than 2 years. So props to him. He is consistent as can be. He's Mr. Anytime, Anywhere, anyone, anytime, anywhere. So props to him. One thing is, though, he really is good. He's really good. So maybe fighting a little less frequently and not on such short notice would benefit him. I don't know. That's his fighting style, and it seems to be fucking working. He's 5-2 in the UFC, so props to him. But maybe if he took some time off in between fights, he could really make some noise in the division, or pick a division because he's between 170 and 85. Every other fight. And on that note, he has obviously, Kevin Holland has fought at 170, whereas Giles has even fought up as high as light heavyweight. So that was one thing I brought into my breakdown, like in my head, breaking down in my head. Then I was like, oh, wait, never mind. He fought fucking Thiago Santos, who's bigger than John Jones when they fought, and Brendan Allen, who basically said he's moving up to light heavyweight soon. So he's fought some big guys. He's comfortable fighting big guys. He's good everywhere. He's good striking. He's good on the ground. I'm all over Holland on this one.
Yeah, we're talking about Trevin go to the third round, win rounds 1 and 2, get gassed, get clipped, and then get finished. Giles. All right, so do not bet on Trevin Giles. I don't care how much of a dog he is. In this particular fight, Kevin Holland is going to have the advantage everywhere. He just got his black belt. He's very sound on the ground. His striking is crisp. He's long, more athletic. Trevin Giles is going to have to clip him and knock him out in order to win this fight. I thoroughly believe that. So this is Holland all day.
I found sorry not to harp on this fight, but I found it so impressive that as like I think Santos was like minus 700. Holland went the full fight with him. It was crazy.
Yeah, Holland is game, man.
He's game as fuck, man.
And shout out to him for reposting MMA Gossip story yesterday. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Bobby Green.
Also,
go ahead, Chris.
One thing I forgot to mention: like, comment, and subscribe on this video, baby.
Please do. Bobby Green sitting at plus 110, rematch with Lando Venata, minus 137. Can it live up to the hype of the first one, Matt?
Dude, So I couldn't find today. I don't know why I couldn't find it. One of you guys might remember off the top of your head. What was the line on the first fight?
I didn't even look.
I think
No.
I was watching it, and I think it was like a pick'em. I think it was very close.
Because I think this fight has the wrong line, in my opinion. I think it should be flipped. So yeah, Lando, you know what you're getting with him, man. He doesn't really put combos together that well. He's a wild striker. Kind of has like more of like a point fighter style as opposed to he doesn't like string combos together that great. They both have solid wrestling. I mean, we've seen this fight before, man. I picked Green the first time. I'm picking Green again. I don't remember the first fight. I should have watched it before this. I'm such a piece of shit. But I mean, you know, Bobby Green, he's as entertaining as it gets in the octagon. I mean, he's nothing to write home about. He's just fun in there. He's zero defense. His defense is literally his head movement. His hands are always at his hips. He has some solid boxing. He could pop. Lando, man, he's looking for his first set of back-to-back wins since 2015 into 2016. So, you know, that pretty much says it all. Bobby Green just fought, so you know he's fresh. Definitely going Green with this one. I'm going to say it's not as close as the first one. I think there's a chance he could finish Lando, but, you know, we'll see. I'm definitely pulling for Green. Love his antics in there. We'll see what's up. Chris?
So I think the line is right because after the first fight, so the illegal knee was in the first round. So there you go. It's a 9-9 wash. I thought Lando won the second and Bobby won the third. So there's your draw. But I think the judges scored it for the judges were flipped. It was one judge had it 27-29, one had it 29-27, and then one had it 28-28. So really wide-ranging scores. I think the line, it's going to move a little bit, and it probably will end pretty much as a pick-em because the first fight was super fucking close. I think Lando gassed out a little bit. Me and Mike were literally just talking about this, so it's still fresh in my mind. But Lando Venata is literally, like you're talking about Gustafson being famous for losing a split decision decision to John Jones. Whereas Lando Venata is literally famous for wobbling Tony Ferguson. Literally. That's about it. He's gone like 1-1, win one, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Since then, he's an entertaining fighter. Relatively entertaining. He's awesome. He's like the perfect fighter to be on the prelims of a pay-per-view. He's exciting, but he's not that fucking good. So, I mean, Bobby Green coming off a decision over Clay Guida. I mean, super dude. Like, I don't know. This is a fight for me. I'm not really too hard one way or another. Maybe I guess I'd ride with Bobby Green at plus money.
Yeah, both of these fighters are kind of the fighters, like, which version of them is going to show up, because sometimes Lando looks like phenomenal when he knocked out John Makdessi, or when he, in his last fight, he beat, who's Max Holloway's boy?
Oh, Yancy Medeiros.
Yeah, where he beat Yancy Medeiros soundly. It's like which Lando's going to show up, and then you got Bobby Green, where it's like you lost the first round to Clay Guida. So which Bobby Green is going to show up? But I will say, from the first fight, Bobby Green finished strong. At the last 10 seconds, he rocked Lando Venata. So I don't know. I always put stock in how fighters finish fights, and considering it's a rematch, they're picking up right where they left off. I feel like the momentum is in Bobby Green's favor, so I'm gonna pick Bobby Green too. It's a close fight for a reason. I think it goes all three. If you want to take a stab at that, that's just how I'm gonna roll, man. I think Lando Venata, he's definitely talented, and it just is gonna show up, And Bobby Green, if he can just use his jab like he did in the first one, and open up Lando like he did in the first one with those cuts, I think he gets his W, 30-27, 29-28 kind of scorecard.
Oh, Mike.
All right, baby. Next, great fight here. Randy Brown, plus 150. Going up against Vicente Luque, minus 190. Matt?
Again, I just don't understand who fucking puts these cards orders together. How is this not the co-main event? Like, come on, dude.
I was going to say that.
Anywho, this is a hard fight to pick. Like, I know at face value, like, it might seem very clear cut for Luque, but Randy Brown's a big dude. He's long as hell. That being said, I think Luque has some of the best, boxing technique in the whole division. Like, and he mixes in leg kicks really well, which allow him to work the body, work the head. And people don't realize, too, because he's such a fucking killer on the feet, he's got a legit ground game, too, where as Randy Brown, he's great boxing as well. He's very rangy, and I do think he's a live dog in this fight. But what I can't get out of my head is Randy Brown against Nico Price. Nico Price is a violent dude.
Dude, I hate you for bringing that up. I hate you.
Dude.
I'll talk about it when it's my turn.
Okay. But the thing is, Luque is a violent dude. How many wars have we seen Luque in? Like, if the fight
Every
goes
time he fights.
literally, and he has a fucking granite chin that I don't think a guy like Randy Brown is going to crack. I'm taking Luque because I don't see. Oh, I'm obviously being biased. I just don't see a way this fight can go that Luque hasn't already been there and can handle it, as opposed to Randy Brown. I'm a Randy Brown fan, like him a lot, but I think Luque hits harder. I think the leg kicks are going to disrupt Brown's movement, and I think that Randy Brown, he might try to get this fight to the ground, where I still trust Luque. I don't know, man. It's going to be a weird fight because, to me, it's two different fighters. You got a guy like Luque who loves to be in the pocket and banging out, and you got a guy like Brown who wants to stay at range and pick you apart. Whoever enforces their fucking will is going. I know it sounds so easy to put it that way, but whoever controls that aspect of the fight is going to win this fight. Chris, I'm taking Luque.
I think imposes was the word you were looking for.
Imposes.
I do that all the time.
Yes.
It's so funny when you're on video now. Like, I find myself doing it all the time because now you're fucking live and we're just talking, and you'll go for a word and you're like, fuck, I don't have it. So you just go with something else. You know, just divert from it. You're like, fuck, I don't want to sound like an asshole. But what was I going to say? This is actually so I think we're 7 or 8 fights into the card. This is the first fight that has a ranked fighter in it. Vicente Luque coming in at number 11. Is Lisa there? Is Lisa lurking?
She's right here. She's staring at me.
Let her on the pod. Get her on the podcast. We gotta show everyone who our manager is.
Come on.
Yeah, literally.
Our manager's right here. She's gonna give me a nice wet kiss.
She does more work than all of us for our podcast. There she is. But I think Vicente Luque is gonna come in here, and I think he's gonna do his thing. I think he's gonna come out with probably a unanimous decision, if I had to guess. Maybe stop Randy Brown later in the fight. Randy Brown is totally stoppable. Vicente Luque is younger. He's got more experience and more experience against better guys. And he's fucking, like Matt just said, he's so durable. Nico Price twice, Mike Perry. He knocked out Boom Boom, who's like chin. I mean, actually, I think Randy Brown did too, actually, now that I say that. But his chin he just seems to never go away. Bilal Muhammad, another one. So Vicente Luque is durable. He's game. He's got good he's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. I just don't see. I know this is one of those fights where anytime I say I don't see a way where Randy Brown can win, Randy Brown fucking wins. But I just don't see. I just think Vicente Luque is clearly better everywhere, and he's going to win this one.
And your boy's coming in the other way.
Of course.
All right. So listen, I'm going to answer my question. How did Wonder Boy beat Luque?
Being Wonder Boy, I don't think he was ready for that, but he hurt him. I guess at range, is he looking for range? Because Randy Brown's so long, he beat him at range. He was
Distance
using his
control.
Wonder Boy was using his range.
Yeah, so distance control. Vicente Luque does great against people who fight him and get in there with him. And he imposes his will against yours, and he usually comes out on top. Against Wonder Boy, he wasn't able to do that. And I think Randy Brown is going to definitely use his distance in this fight. And I know that MMA math doesn't work, right? But Bam Bam was this close to winning the decision over Vicente Luque if Luque did not knock him out.
Well, time out. They came out the scorecards, and he was up on every scorecard.
Okay, fair enough. But that fight was a war, and I personally
was sick. I'm just telling you.
I didn't know who was going to win, and I thought it was going to the scorecards because there was 15 seconds left or something, and then Vicente.
I had like $2,000 on that fight. Chris, remember how much I was shitting?
Dude, I was on Luque too. I could not believe what was happening before my eyes, literally. Anyway, Randy Brown goes in there as a plus 250 favorite over Bam Bam and just works him and TKOs him in the third round, just whoops him. I know that doesn't matter. I know. But on the ground, Randy Brown is very savvy. I don't think it goes to the ground, but I think if it stays up on the feet and Randy Brown can evade these massive, leaping hooks from Luque, touch him up, get those calf kicks going, I think that he has a very solid chance of winning this fight. Luque is one of those fighters that hasn't evolved since he's gotten into the UFC. Everybody knows what they're getting into when they're fighting Luque, but they can't stop him. But the recipe is out. Like, you know how to win. You fight him from a distance. You evade his leaping hooks and his pocket exchanges, and you can win this fight. And I think Randy Brown is going to do that. And if it goes to the ground, which I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be well-versed, both guys. Randy Brown has an awesome submission win over Wolji Burin and a couple other guys I can't really think of right now. But speaking of the Nico Price fight, it was a freak thing. He was on top, and he got put in a position where, Nico has all the momentum in the world and just starts hitting him with these hammer fists and knocks him out. I know it's a bad look, but I think that's the reason why he was a plus 250 against Bam Bam. And I'm lucky. I'm so pumped I cashed on that, because Bam Bam is not ever a minus 250 over anybody. So
no, you're right. I cashed on that too. The only thing I will say to your point, and I feel like this is good. We're finally getting some fucking debating here. I do think Brown's 100% a live dog. The only problem I see with how you're looking at this is there's levels to this shit, and Brown's striking isn't Wonder Boy's. I don't think he's capable of controlling the distance like Wonder Boy does. I think he's like I just said, live dog. I might even still bet on him. I'm not completely sold on Luque, but I just don't think Brown's striking is good enough to do that for 3 rounds against a guy like Luque. I think it's a fair assessment, and props, but that's.
Hey, the best part is we get to see it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Matt, just for $500 on Randy Brown.
We'll get that. If I get that text message, I'm screenshotting it and posting it on our Instagram. Just doing it.
You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, and also the reason I was laughing when Matt was talking, so Matt, the first thing he says about Randy Brown, he goes, he's big, he's so long. I have like literally 10 clips of Matt saying that about different fighters. But what I'm going to do is next time, like Jack or Manson, perfect example, I'm going to screenshot Matt's text of him cashing a big bet on someone like that. And then the next video is going to be a 15-second clip of Matt on the podcast fully explaining why X fighter is going to lose.
Dude, I flip-flop so much because like Mike said in the beginning of the podcast, man, like just because it's Tuesday, just because we did this doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching shit, especially if like I'm not going to go back and be watching fucking, I don't know, Eric Spiceley all week, but I'll probably watch more of Luque. His fights are entertaining. It's easy to watch. Like, and same thing for Randy Brown. Like, it's easy to swing back and forth when a fight's this close. And that's kind of what I did with Hermanson.
You were on record. You said you would bet – I think you said you would bet your parents' beach house or their will or something that Wonder Boy was going to stop Anthony Pettis. Mike was saying how live of a dog he was. You argued with him all week. Like, to the point where I was like, I have to mute my phone because you guys were going back and forth so much. And then the day of the fight, you bet on Pettis.
Yep. You know what? But the thing is, Wonder Boy was Mike. You want to talk about a freak thing?
It was a fluke. It was a fluke.
Yeah, it was a fluke.
You know what? That's how Pettis wins. Jumping off the
That's what I had in my mind, man. If he does some crazy shit, hits Wonder Boy the right way, it's over, and that's what happened. So I'll admit I got lucky. I got lucky on that one, but not with Cejudo and Marlon Moraes, man. That was me all day. But no, I have bad picks all the time. That's the sport, man. That's what we're talking about. We're making an educated assessment right now together. You know what I'm saying? 2 guys on Luque, 1 guy on Brown. Both perspectives are valid. We'll see what happens on Saturday. That's the fucking game.
Dude, I've told so many people to bet on X, and then he gets fucking knocked the fuck out in the first round. I'm like, it feels real bad. I'm just making fun of Matt for being wishy-washy.
Yeah, it's funny.
I am.
All right, let's get to this fire co-main event. We got Joanne Calderwood stepping in on very, very short notice, minus 182, going up against Jennifer Maia, plus 145. I really couldn't care less about this fight, Matt.
I promise, guys, that we're not sexist. We're just tired of very low-level female fights. The female divisions at all levels need an injection of talent bad. I'm taking Calderwood. Maya's as one-dimensional it gets. She wants to stand, and she literally only wants to box. I don't even know why she does MMA. She might as well just go box. Calderwood, solid Muay Thai. She's shown some wrestling chops lately. She definitely thinks she has advantage in the clinch given that Muay Thai experience. I just think she's going to mix it up more. I'm going Calderwood. Again, there's not much to see here. Chris?
I was just joking when I made that face because this is number 3 versus number 6, bro. This is high-level stuff. Calderwood, the news when she accepted this fight was Joanne Calderwood, like, I forget what the headline said, but it was like she's breaking her weight for her title shot. Basically, she was supposed to fight Shevchenko for the title. How? I have no fucking idea. She's on a 1-fight win streak. She lost to blonde fighter Caitlin Chukagian before that. Calderwood is just, we want to talk about wishy-washy. I feel like sometimes she shows up and sometimes she fucking doesn't. I mean, I think she was going to get blown out of the fucking water by Shevchenko, who doesn't. In this fight, I mean, it's pretty close, I guess. They're both slow. I'm looking down here to see if I have anything special written about them. But Calderwood's 33, Maya's 31. Neither one of these girls is young. I guess Calderwood, because she was supposed to get the title shot, so maybe she just rides this one into a title shot.
Fight goes the distance. And next fight. But seriously,
Good call, Mike. Seriously.
I know. No, but seriously, that's if I'm stabbing at it, that's the only one I could think of because I don't want to bet on either one of these girls, coming in on short notice. That's a problem. And you got Jennifer Maia, who doesn't have nearly as much experience as Calderwood does. So I'm going to pick Calderwood to win this fight, but I'm most certainly not making any of my picks come Saturday.
Calderwood is 6-4 in her last 10, is ranked number 3 in the world. Maya's 2-2 in the UFC and is number 6 in the world.
Wow. I was born
That's rough.
Gender and entered the wrong sport,
Yeah.
Up next, main event. Wow. Talk about a wide line that doesn't make any sense. Edmund Shabazyan, Ronda Rousey's prospect, minus 335, going up against Derek Brunson, plus 250. Matt.
I mean, dude, I am on Brunson. He is a live dog in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. He's a very live dog. So the way I looked at this fight was, one, he's a prospect of fucking Ronda Rousey. No, I'm just kidding. Also, I just want to say I am so happy that Holly Holm fight fell apart. Like, I could not have cared less. Nobody's a bigger advocate for get rid of Holly Holm than I am.
I was rooting for Aldana huge there too.
Yes, same.
She got COVID, right? That's what's going on in the street. We're so good. The whole podcast and us 3 assholes just started screaming over each other. But
fucking Holly Holm, between her and Yoel Romero getting title shots off of losses. But anyway, so I look at Edmund and I look at who he's fought since he got in the UFC. Darren Stewart, Charles Byrd, Jack Marsh, and Brad Tavares. What do all those guys have in common? They're going to stand and they're going to trade. Brunson, I want to see if Brunson uses that Division II wrestling and imposes his will and takes this fight to the ground, or at least tries. I want to see him make this a dog fight. I want to see him up against the cage. I want to see him looking for takedowns, because we haven't seen Edmund in that world yet. And I think this line is big enough where taking a stab at the underdog is completely – it's completely fine in my opinion. And, like, Brunson's been in there with the best guys in the division. Has he beaten all of them? No. Dude, he's been in there with Izzy, got knocked out. Okay, whatever. He's been in there with Jacare. He's been in there with a guy like Heinisch, who he beat. He's been in there with Machida, who he knocked out. Fucking I still, to this day, Chris, we were at this fight, I think he beat Anderson Silva. And he's been in there with Whitaker, man. Like, that's the who's who of middleweight. I'm on Brunson's fight. He's definitely a live dog, and we'll see if the hype is real with Edmund. I mean, I'm not doubting him. His striking is very legit, but you can't say anything about the rest of his game because he finishes people so quickly, and we just haven't seen him do anything else yet. It's not a knock on him because, like I said, he is finishing everybody, but I want to see him mix up. I want to see his other aspects of MMA. I want to see where his grappling is at. I want to see where his wrestling is at. I want to see where everything else is at. Chris, what do you think?
I'm laughing right now because when the Anderson Silva fight, I remember we were at the fight, so naturally we're both hammered, and you were so pissed, dude, because you bet so much money on Derek Brunson. You were so mad. But I feel like I say this a lot about Brunson, and here's the thing. So I was pretty high on the Brunson train. I'm dating this now, but 3 or 4 years ago, I was pretty high on the train. Derek Brunson was this close to beating Yoel Romero. He dominated Yoel Romero for 2 rounds and then got brutally finished, but who's asking? I feel like I say pretty often I want to see Derek Brunson mix in his wrestling, and he never fucking does. So he gets hot-headed and he gets dragged into a brawl. The fucking Whitaker fight put Whitaker over because Brunson fell right into Whitaker's game, came out brawling, got his ass slept. Anderson Silva, he mixed in no fucking wrestling. I want to see him do that. He's good. He's fucking game. His chin's a little questionable. I thought he was going to mix in wrestling against Izzy. Izzy made him look like a fucking fool. So here's my take. Is Derek Brunson a live dog? Absolutely yes. Edmund Shabazyan, I think that this has potential for ultimate UFC matchmaking. This is number 8 versus number 9 here. Edmund's 22 years old. Like we said, I don't need to repeat what Matt just said, who wins are Brad Tavares, etc. The only time he's went to a decision, though, which worries me, was one time against Darren Stewart, and he didn't look great going to decision. All of his fights are first-round stoppages. The UFC wants him to come out here and stop Derek Brunson in the first round. And if and when he does do that, everyone's going to be praising UFC matchmaking and saying that, like, Derek Brunson is the ultimate gatekeeper now, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he just beat Ian Heinisch, who's, I feel like Ian's proved himself enough in LFA and UFC to be considered a veteran. And Brunson just got that win, and that was impressive. I was against Brunson in that 100%. So I feel like here, this is what?
I didn't remember. I forgot you were. I'm surprised.
Yeah. And I just feel like in this one, it really is just ultimate UFC matchmaking. This is fucking Sean Shelby and them doing their fucking thing. And, oh, man, this is tough. I think Edmund's going to win? Yeah. He opened as a minus 160 favorite, though. Now he's over plus 300. I think it's insane. So just on that aspect alone, bet on fucking Brunson, because why not? But I think Edmund's going to win. Yeah, of course I fucking think he's going to win. Does UFC want him to win? Obviously. Dana White just did a live Instagram live video at Ronda Rousey to put the fucking guy over. He's the main event for a reason. They want him to win. He's going to win. But Brunson's absolutely a live dog.
First time Ronda showed her face in 10 years.
I'm also on Edmund, but I agree the line is absolutely, way wider than it should be. I do think it should be a lot closer. I just think Edmund, that one fight where I went to decision with Darren Stewart, Edmund was on him like glue the whole time, like trying to grapple him, trying to bring him to the ground. Probably because his striking wasn't as developed as it is now, but he was on Darren Stewart like glue the whole fight, and that led to him gassing out, and Darren Stewart turned it up in the third round and made it very close with some serious ground and pound to the point where Edmund was, curled up, and I thought there was a possibility it might get stopped. So, Edmund is a huge asterisk next to him because if it does go farther into the deep waters, Derek Brunson is 100% going to have the experience level to and the mental capacity to edge out this fight, whereas Edmund looked like he was fading and looked very worried in that third round against Darren Stewart. So the experience level you cannot compare the two. Derek Brunson outweighs him in every single area. I just think that in the first round, Edmund's going to come out strong like he always does. Derek Brunson has to be on high alert in that first and second round if it gets that far, if he wants to win this fight. And Obviously, if it goes all 5 rounds, I'm 110% favoring Brunson in this fight. So I agree, he's a live dog.
He's a good underdog pick this week, man. He really is.
What's the over-under in this fight?
I guarantee it's going to be 1.5.
Yeah, it's got to be low because Edmund's coming out. He always comes out strong as hell. So I'm picking
the over. If it's 1.5, I might take that over, man.
I feel you.
If Brunson comes out when his fight IQ is not what it was in the Whitaker fight, and he's not just coming out like this and shit. As long as he comes out and he's normal, he definitely get out of the first round. I don't think he's chinny by any means. I just thought he was an idiot in that fight.
Also, he was training himself, and now I believe he's at Jackson Wink, which is a huge fucking step. That's a big change, dude. You go from training yourself to fight Israel Adesanya to go to training Jackson Wink and fighting a 22-year-old kid. It's a big fucking difference.
Yeah, he was with Jackson Wink. I think over in the Heinisch fight was his first fight with Jackson Wink, and obviously it proved dividends because he made Heinisch look like a Joe Schmo out there. Very impressive. So, yeah, dude, this is a crazy fight. This line is stupid. I just don't want to be one of those idiots that, pulls the trigger on Brunson and then he gets annihilated in the first round and be like, damn, I guess the line was justified. So, I don't know.
That being said, what else are you going to do? Bet $300 to win $100 like I do? Like, if I bet $50 on that.
Look who's talking.
If that happened, I had $50 on, I'd be like, all right, whatever. Because $50, it's gonna pay out, man. But I see where you're coming from, though. Like, I would probably put maybe Edmund in a parlay and then bet Brunson straight. I don't know. I got it. You know what I'm gonna look at is some round by round props.
Yeah, let's wait for those.
I've been hitting those, man. I've been hitting at least 2 a week, and they pay like crazy.
Matt, hypothetically speaking here, you're up $500 and another situation you're down $500. How do you bet the main event? Either way. You're up 500. How do you bet it?
Up 500, I'll put 200 on Brunson. Down 500, whatever I need to put on Shabazyan to win that 500 bet.
Oh man!
Oh,
I can't wait for Saturday. All right, boys. Anything else you guys want to touch upon before we close out the show?
2 things. 1, like, comment, and subscribe on this fucking video. 2, Askar Askarov is 90% deaf.
Dude, if you weren't gonna say it, I
wouldn't
would.
say it before. Like the video. Drop a fucking comment. Say how ugly I am, how I need to shave my beard. My mom's been telling me, but I'm just letting it rock because who's looking at me? I work from home every day. And subscribe. The subscriptions really fucking help us. It's free for you. It takes 1 click. You can mute us for all I give a shit. Just click that button. Helps us out more than you know. Yeah, 33% of you that watch this video are subscribed. 67% are not. Let's get those numbers up. Hit that button. It's free. It helps. And we appreciate it more than you fucking know.
All right, yo.
That's it.
From the MMA Gossip Boys, love mixed martial arts. See you Saturday. Tune in. We will be back as always before you know it.
Later, guys.
Later.